Hello everybody and welcome to the Nexus Gaming series. I am Jayzon, and today I've got a last second co-casting edition. Moist Weenus has come in here to do some awesome co-casting with me. Welcome to the stream, buddy. How you doing?
Thank you so much, Jayzon. I'm doing very well. I got a little bit sunburned yesterday, but everything is healing up nicely. How are you today?
Well, I'm glad that I don't have to deal with the sunburn. I mostly just stay indoors for that reason, but we do have quite a lot of rain out here in Oregon right now. What else would you expect, I suppose?
Yep, that's why when you stay inside a lot like myself and you do venture outdoors, make sure to wear sunscreen. That's the PSA for protecting your skin.
Yeah. A couple of those occasions. I remember going to an Oregon Duck game and just like sun beating down on the left side. It was like half of a sunburn, It's like the one side was all red and the other side was fine. It was good. It was good stuff. But we do have a Division A match coming for you guys, so enough about us and our skin. We got the UFC Death Knights. But of course, pale-skinned brutes that they are, they're going to be going up against ReGen. And I should have that matchup coming up to you in just a couple of moments. We got everybody in lobby, and looks like teams need just a couple more minutes, and they'll be ready to go here. So first map, we're going to have Infernal Shrines. The coin flip was won by UFC, so they selected to ban out Sky Temple here. Battlefield of Eternity was banned out by ReGen. We then had the Death Knights taking us to Shrines here for game 1, and ReGen selected the or actually, do I have that backwards? I think I do have that backwards. Yeah, ReGen won the toss. So just flip all those. Infernal Shrines was ReGen's map choice, and Dragonshire was selected by the Death Knights.
And I missed the coin toss, so I'm just going to have to believe you.
Yeah, well, what choice do you have, really? So
it's a good default. If you don't know the truth, just ask Jayzon, and he's usually right.
I'll do my best, that's for sure. No reason to mislead anybody, but we do have no snow. But I thank everybody for coming out on a nice Sunday afternoon, watching us play some matches, finishing out our week 1 here in NGS today. Quite a slate of matches this week, Sweenus. We've had so many different teams coming in to the to the league now. 110 teams overall in NGS, and it has been a busy week.
Yeah, and a lot of new teams, with all of these new players coming in, they're forming new teams. Some teams are switching around and reforming. So it's a lot of fun. I'm enjoying a lot of the new logos that teams are coming out with as well. Those are fun to see. The league has grown, and it's very exciting to see.
Yeah, and it's been fun watching a lot of these new matchups. We've seen teams that we've seen, of course, coming back from previous seasons of NGS. But it's kind of hard to put your finger on exactly, what we're going to see in a lot of these new matchups. And it's been interesting to see the different drafting strategies. Very interesting to see a lot of the new macro strategies that we're seeing as teams slowly start to adapt to this new meta. Seeing Phoenix come into the game has shaken a lot of things up. And just a lot of recent adjustments to heroes. We've had just this overhaul of reworks and numbers adjustments, and it's kind of thrown everybody for a loop, I feel like. But slowly, I think NGS teams here are finding their way through, finding the meta, and hopefully we'll see things calm down a little bit here.
Yeah, and in the future, it sounds like there's going to be a further shakeup with talks of a third ban. Yeah.
And I think that at this point, we're seeing the size of the general hero pools being so large that I really think that that's necessary. And, you look at the meta right now, and I feel like there are a lot of different teams that have a lot of high-profile, high-priority picks. And so it's really hard to ban out, a lot of the highest meta heroes, because every single role has at least 2 or 3 heroes that just seem to be a cut above the rest right now.
Indeed, yeah, and they get a lot of attention for the first pick and for the first pick bans. So it's a lot of drafts at the beginning, sometimes they start to look more the same, whether it's that same top tier hero that gets banned or picked in several matches across several divisions.
Exactly. All right, so we are going to be going in. Both teams are ready, and we've got our first map queued up and ready to go here. It is going to be played out on Infernal Shrines, game number 1 for the UCF Death Knights versus ReGen here in the A division. So, Weenus, what do you like to prioritize here on Infernal Shrines specifically?
Well, for me personally, I like playing the objective, so I like playing heroes that have a lot of shrine clear, things like Gul'dan, and then if you want to put a healer in there, maybe like a Stukov with the silence, which can take down minions, but also I like Rhaegar with his lightning shield to also burn them down. Sonya I feel is really strong, kind of like AoE based heroes.
And there are some interesting not so meta picks that you can pull out on Infernal Shrines. We see pretty much the only map that we still see Kerrigan picked up on is Infernal Shrines, with her amazing ability to clear out these skeletal minions on the shrines. Alexstrasza can be very powerful here with her Dragon Queen and her ability to really give you that advantage during these shrine phases. We also see a pretty high priority on wave clear in general, so heroes like Gul'dan and Ragnaros that aren't always highly prioritized in draft can be prioritized a little bit higher than normal on this map specifically as well.
Definitely, and Kerrigan, like you were saying, she's also so dangerous because all the teams kind of group up together on the objective, and her combo is, when you have several targets to hit, it's much easier when they're all clumped up.
So we do see for our first match of the day, we're gonna have Phoenix finding his way through the first pick, first ban. So Maiev being banned out here by ReGen. Not a big surprise to see Garrosh banned out by the Death Knights. Very, very strong displacement hero on the front line that a lot of people have been wanting to see thrown out of the game here in the early bans. But Phoenix comes through. So an interesting thing about Phoenix is he does have the ability to get all that AoE damage out with the photon cannon to be able to clear these shrines pretty effectively.
I agree. And do you think that ReGen is going to possibly pick up a counter here, like a Varian or something like a Lunara, something like that?
Yeah, that's what a lot of people have been looking at is Phoenix is so powerful in the meta right now. How do you counter him effectively? And I think that dive and CC is really the answer. You have to be able to stop him from being able to warp away when he does lose those. And there it is, Diablo and Genji coming out. You got to think ReGen is a pretty experienced team here. They would not have let Phoenix go through if they were not prepared to counter it. And so they are going full dive potential here to get back to the Phoenix.
Yeah, and I think the Diablo and the Genji, I think those are great counters. Genji for the chase, Diablo for the initial stun, and to destroy that shield on Phoenix, and then when they warp away, go Genji, go!
Yeah, the other thing that I've seen used as a counter for the Phoenix is the Varian. Also very divey hero, and does have that shattering throw talent to be able to destroy his shielding. But we will see ETC and Stukov coming out. So right now, the side of the Death Knights looking to try their best to go ahead and get a monopoly on the hero pools here. Stukov and Mouth, really the two strongest supports in the meta. So I'm looking to see them ban out the Mouth here after they picked up the Stukov.
Yeah, and Mouth did get a little bit of a nerf in the latest patch, but it seems like teams still like him and still like to use him. So I think he's still strong, especially with his silence, heroic ability. When everyone's grouped up, I think you can get a lot of value out of that.
Yeah, it's surprising to see that Medivh has filed his way through the first set of picks and bans here, making it to the second half. Medivh very strong here on Infernal Shrines. Good, solid, sustained potential to help somebody like a Phoenix or even a Genji who's diving in to be able to survive. But we're going to see the Blaze ban coming out. So we're wanting to avoid the bunker counterplay to the dive. I really like that ban coming out from ReGen.
Yeah, and also, I don't know if they're thinking about this at all, but if you get a Mosh laid down with Combustion, that can be a pretty big wombo combo as well. I don't know if that's something that they were thinking they wanted to prevent the Death Knights from getting.
Yeah, so we will see the Medivh coming out as the ban for the Death Knights. So no big shocker there. Very strong on this map. Very strong in the meta currently as well. Deciding not to go for that support chokehold though. So I do expect to see a mouth pickup from ReGen either here or as their last pick. They can decide to flex that healer if they maybe want to look at an Uther and make sure that there's not going to be anything that counters it super hard, such as a Gul'dan or a Lunara. They can save that support for last, but then they'd also be giving up the rest of their comp, all of the damage and the offlaner, so that it can be counterpicked by the Death Knight. So kind of a rough spot here for ReGen in this draft.
Yeah, one thing I don't love about picking a support last is it makes it harder to counter with that last slot.
I shall do what I must.
And I like this solution from ReGen. They're going to go with the Alexstrasza. They're going to get a healer that's a little bit in between, has good AoE potential, very good on Infernal Shrines, as we had discussed earlier, and then, of course, Sonya. So that Sonya is going to be their main shrine clearer, very strong in the solo lane, hard to counter Sonya in that solo lane role as well here for the Death Knights.
Yeah, I feel like Sonya is one of the strongest solo laners myself personally, so it's always fun to see what kind of a matchup they're going to throw in the solo lane against Sonya. Phoenix is a pretty strong solo laner as well, but if you go the cannon build, then or the laser build, then you're going to want to get stacks, so you probably want them to be in more team fight situations.
So here we see the Leo coming out from UCF. No big shocker there. Very strong on the map, very strong wave clear in general, and does decently in the solo lane against Sonya. So it does look like Phoenix is going to be part of the 4-man, and then they're going to go ahead and pick up the Greymane. Good follow-up to the CC potential from ETC, and takes advantage of being able to fight in those lurking arm areas with Stukov. And just in general, he's a good finisher. He's a good he's a good combo with Phoenix, who we know is going to be chunking out heroes, having that good sustained damage. Greymane gives you a little bit of burst to complement that.
Yeah, and I also feel like he has pretty solid shrine clear as well with his cocktail and his razor swipes. I think he also has some utility there as well. So I like the Greymane pickup.
One last pick here for ReGen. What do they want to round out this comp? Probably some backline damage. They don't really have a whole lot of damage from the backside. Maybe a mage, possibly a Jaina. They're going to go with the Tychus. So quite a lot of chunk potential against the double tank comp here for the Death Knights. And Tychus is very good at getting a lot of damage out, having really high damage numbers. But he's not particularly good at finishing. But that's where Genji comes in here for ReGen.
Absolutely. And when you have 4 melee stacked up for the Death Knights, I think Tychus is going to be able to kind of harass them and push them back and become a little bit of a problem.
And especially post 10, Tychus brings a lot of wave clear potential, a lot of siege or anti-siege potential, regardless of whether you end up getting the Punisher and want to push with it, or you end up losing the Punisher and you want some good solid damage to put against it with that Commandeer Odin. So I think that's a solid pick out here. 2 really amazing drafts coming out here from both of these teams.
Yeah, I like them both a lot. Which is your favorite draft of the 2? Which one do you think is stronger?
I really, really like ReGen. I like how they played this draft. They allowed the Phoenix to go through, almost baiting UCF into that, and then choosing the dive and the support potential for it. So I do like their draft a little bit more, but I am not going to sleep here on the Death Knights. I think that their draft is also very strong. The Stukov is going to give them a leg up in the healing department over the Alexstrasza. Leoric is amazing at double soaking, and I think a lot of it's going to come down to the macro play from both of these teams here. I don't think either team has won the draft by any means.
I agree. I would love to see Alexstrasza going up into the air and chasing down a Phoenix with their ultimate to see if that's something that they were planning on doing, because I've seen it happen before and it's kind of crazy.
Helps the dive potential for sure, but we are loaded in here onto Infernal Shrines for game number 1. On the left, it is the UCF Death Knights. We've got Ash Bash on the Greymane. Jackster is going to be on the Stukov. Rook is going to be on ETC. Kodiaks is on the Leoric, and Snipe is going to be on the Phoenix.
And for Team ReGen in the red corner on the right, we have So Lucky on Tychus, we have Kupalin on Sonya, we have Rain on Diablo, Penguin FTW on Genji, and Prof Bobo on Alexstrasza.
All right, so we will see both teams electing to come on in to the mid, and WrestleMania is on here to start off this game. We're going to have a nice charge in here onto Rook as Rain looks to flank from the top, but as soon as this wave gets cleared, both teams going to go ahead and walk away. A lot of sustained potential on both sides, and they want to get directly out to lane here for the soak.
As predicted, we have Sonya and Leoric doing their off-lane business top.
Go ahead and give you guys a picture of these talents as they come in. It is going to go ahead and be the Globe talent here for Alexstrasza. Rain getting caught out a little bit. Nice slide from Rook, and amazing follow-up there by the Death Knights. And that's going to be First Blood going over to UCF.
Phoenix already getting 12 stacks of advanced targeting. That is going quickly.
Yeah, very nice start here for Snipe. We do also have just one globe so far for the side of ReGen, so they're not really. And you see Bobo trying to get to the mid there, but just barely missing out on those two globes that were sitting in mid. So right now struggling a little bit to get their quest talents going. We also have the globe talent for Tychus, so we'll have to see if they can pick this up and maybe let these waves push in a little bit more like they are now to try and get a handle on these globes.
Sonya's getting a little bit low in the top lane, so she's gonna have to get back and might not escape. Oh, and does go down. That was so close.
The one last tick on the Drano up there. Kodiaks gets the better of the Sonya in the top lane, so that's gonna be a nice XP boost for them. They're gonna be able to pick up those waves top, and the side of ReGen are gonna miss out on a wave or two of XP up there. But meanwhile, the 4-man rotate does continue. Interesting to see neither team prioritizing the camps at all. I do think that the Death Knights have the opportunity to do that with the Greymane, who's very, very good on the camp captures. Right now, for now, both teams just satisfied with rotating through, getting their soak and wave clear going, and just looking towards that first shrine, which will be popping in the top lane.
Yeah, both teams might be waiting for the shrine. Oh, got some action mid.
So Lucky gonna end up falling to the lurking arm there from Jackster, but a lot of damage, and Phoenix goes down, or I should say, Diablo goes down there to the Phoenix damage and that cocktail finish. Ash Bash showing how Greymanes will often make a living off of those Phoenix off of those cocktail over the wall kills.
You think you're safe, you make it across the wall, and then incoming, and it comes out of nowhere.
Yeah. But we do see the shrine popping in the top, but as you alluded to, neither team going directly for the shrine, but instead we do see the side of the Death Knights looking to grab the camp in bot and force ReGen to have something they have to answer to here early in the game, allowing them to eventually rotate up here and get a nice advantage on the shrine.
Yeah, keep the other team busy in the farthest opposite lane and take the objective for yourself.
You see ReGen clearing out the lanes, being patient here, letting the Sonya back to get their health up. But the side of UCF is going to be up by about 20 skeletal minions, actually almost 30 by the time ReGen gets up here. They're actually not even going to look to contest this, so just a little bit too late on the rotation. Level 7 here for the Death Knights, and they're not even going to worry about it. They're just going to let this objective go.
Yep, they're going to soak what they can and then get ready for defense up here in the top lane.
This is going to be the Arcane Punisher here. Quite a lot of extra damage to a lot of area denial or damage to the heroes here right away. 4-man rotation by both of these teams to try and deal with this Punisher. And we are going to see the wall going down here in the top lane. They may also look to get the jump over by John Cena. This Rain taking a lot of damage, slide in by Rook trying to follow it up, but he does a nice job of using that charge to get himself out of trouble, zone back a little bit. The fort goes down, but for now it looks like ReGen is going to hold there.
Yeah, I think that's pretty good value for the first Punisher. They're not the strongest early game, so I think they got good value pushing with it, and I think that helps give them more than a level advantage for the UCF Death Knights.
That's also a very nice call here for ReGen. They did send Sonya out to lane. Sonya not really able to get a whole lot of safe clear onto the Punisher in general. So they keep up with the level. They prevent the Leoric rotation from getting too much value, and they're staying in the game here. Now we do see the aggressive rotation in here. Jackster is in all kinds of trouble. Throws down the lurking arm to try and zone. Penguin going in, but not quite able to finish the kill. Jackster walking away with less than 100 health. And meanwhile, the slide in on Rain as the Death Knights look to punish. And they're going to end up taking down 3 members of ReGen. And now 7-0 on the kill count. And they'll go ahead and reap the reward, which is going to be the siege camp in mid.
That was a very successful re-engage from the UCF Death Knights. Stukov just escaping barely, and then they were able to turn it. And that was quite well played.
Well, they are looking for Sonya here. The lurking arm goes down along with that slow, but we'll be able to make it around the edge there. Level 10s are coming in now for the Death Knights, and we are going to see it is going to be the Flailing Swipe along with Mosh Pit, the Savo, as well as Go for the Throat and Entomb. So pretty standard picks across the board. Mostly what you would expect, especially against the divey heroes. And with that Purification Savo, it's going to give a lot of damage. Greymane is going to be the one they want mainly finishing off these kills. And so I think that Go for the Throat, very, very well picked here by Ashbash.
Yeah, and Snipe picking up his 30 stacks now, so he's going to get an additional rotation for his Plasma Cutter. And that slow is going to help Greymane catch up and get in position if he's not there already.
That's an amazing call, by the way, for the Death Knights. They go ahead and rotate to the mid with this double camp. They're doing a nice job of defending these Khazra spear throwers that are getting a lot of damage done. They take down the mid fort. They're actually now looking for the rotation to top to see if they can catch out Sonya. We should be able to get the back before they get in. Just barely getting away there.
What an escape.
Whew. But they do end up getting a little bit of damage on top. But this next shrine is spawning in the mid lane. So for the Death Knights, they're going to have the advantage with that well in mid, as well as being able to fall back to the fort if they get in trouble. But most importantly, if they do get this Punisher, it's going to be going directly onto the keep here in mid.
Well, looks like maybe a connection issue.
Yeah, we'll check out. We'll see what the pause is for. We have ReGen with the pause here, so take a look at what's going on. But yeah, definitely an advantage here in the early game for the Death Knights. They have been playing very efficiently, pretty solid rotations all around, and we'll have to see what exactly ReGen can try and do to get back into this game.
Yeah, and I like the camp pickup here. Right before the objective spawns, so you get that pressure pushing in the lane while all the teams are busy, and so that kind of force ReGen to decide, hey, do we want to send someone to go clear this camp and be in a 4v5 situation, or do we just let it push, which also gives a lot of lane clear to the Death Knights and possibly some damage on their structure. So it's a tough decision that you're making the enemy team make, and I think that's very smart.
Yeah, that's definitely the kind of macro play I love to see. You're making your opponent choose how they lose. If they end up fighting the shrine in mid, then that camp is pushing directly onto the top keep. They took care of the top fort with that last Punisher, and so now they're going to look to have that split push rolling up there. But if they give up the shrine, then the Punisher's pushing onto the mid keep. So either way, you're going to have a keep under siege here. Less risky play for the side of ReGen would be to just clear the camp, because at the end of the day, you could end up losing both if you end up trying to charge in here into the shrine and end up losing the shrine and not getting the clear on the camp.
Yeah, they can spend a little bit of time, giving up minions to clear that camp, and then come in together as 5 in a much safer engagement. And that sounds like probably the safer of the two calls for sure.
And it looks like we actually did not put in to be the refs for the match. So actually, that's my mistake. I didn't sign us down as refs. So we can't actually unpause. Let me see if I can whisper "so lucky" and let you know.
Yep, as long as both teams are ready and there's a countdown, I guess it doesn't really matter who unpauses.
Well, there we go. We got the unpause, so that's okay.
Well,
Neither of these teams were anywhere near each other, so I'm not too deathly worried about it. Let me get over to the right one, though. There we go. And we are back in here for this game one. And like I said, important decision here for ReGen. It does look like, for now, they are posturing to try and go in here, but they're slowly falling further and further behind on the minion count. And as you alluded to, now that camp is pushing in towards top, slowly making its way towards that top keep.
yeah, looks like they're gonna do the 5v5, try to win this team fight, get the shrine, and then go back and clear before too much damage has been done.
We do have the Entomb coming out. APOC, though, to try and counter-engage. We do have Alex Straza going up, getting some heals there with that Searing Flame. Rook goes in with almost no health at all to try and hit that mosh pit, but gets blown up there by Tychus pretty much instantly. Snipe also in a lot of trouble as we do have Sonya wreaking havoc on the back line. Bobo comes down with almost no health, but right now it looks like ReGen has found a way to win this team fight.
Yeah, Death Knights have healed up a little bit, and they're going to come back in and try to retake this.
And so Lucky ends up falling on the back end there. A lot of pressure coming in from Snipe and Ash Bash. They're able to also pick up the Sonya kill, so once again, the side of UCF able to patiently wait that one out, come back in, get the big win, and still getting value in that top lane from the camp, as that's going to take down the front wall of the keep. And now they'll be marching in here to the mid-keep with their Punisher.
That top camp didn't get a whole lot, but they did lose the Punisher, so there will be siege damage incoming right now.
So they do bait it over the wall, the Punisher, Mortar Punisher this time around, so a little bit of extra siege damage coming out from all those extra fire zone areas. We do have the dive in as Rook is looking to follow this up on the back end. Takes a lot of harass, though, from the side of ReGen. Mid-keep does end up falling, and right now they're going to be looking to try and get a little bit of damage onto the core. The counter-engage is here. Purification Savo going to chunk down some of the members of ReGen as we see Sonya falling. Ash Bash trying to find his way back to Penguin, but not quite able to finish off the kill. They do end up getting the keep down, but it looks like they're going to back up and look to play the macro from there.
Not enough picks to do a full core push. Not enough health left on the Punisher, but they get what they wanted. They got that keep. They got out with all 5. They got a pick on Sonya, and now they're just going to start painting the map blue.
Yeah, very nice dividends there, once again, from UCF. They don't take too much. They don't overstay. But I liked the call. You know, they realistically were not going to be able to finish without kills, and so you saw them try to focus on trying to get picks there when the Punisher was still alive, and, you know, it gives you more XP. They did get a pick or two, but not enough to finish. But then as soon as they knew that that was over and that was no longer a possibility, you see them back out. They're going to get camps. They're going to get a little extra siege here in bot, which they do now see is where the next Punisher Shrine phase is going to be. Once again, macro play coming out here from the Death Knights.
Yeah, they did a great job of knowing when to get out. If you stay too long, sometimes all the progress that you made in the push in gets wiped out if the defending team ends up wiping your team.
We'll see ReGen rotating out members to soak in the other lanes. They do achieve the level 13, but guess what? Here comes level 16 for the Death Knights. So we're going to go ahead and keep that talent tier advantage for a little while longer. Long road away from level 16 for ReGen. And that's pretty much going to allow UCF to do whatever they want here.
Punishers do get stronger as the match goes on, though. So if ReGen can get some of those, then I think that that they're still in this. They can still win this. They just have to have some team fights with better turnout.
Yeah, for sure. And that's one of the things I love about Heroes of the Storm is the game's never really over, especially on big maps like Infernal Shrines, because you know you have all these different structures that you can give up slowly throughout the game if you're behind, if you don't feel like you can contest. Eventually, ReGen is going to run out of those extra lives, if you will. But for now, they're definitely still in this one. They're playing the game very patiently. They're rotating around, looking to see if they can find anybody out. But right now, UCF doing a nice job of not rotating anybody solo in dangerous positions. They're rotating mostly together, looking for picks of their own. And we'll have to see if ReGen can find what they're looking for out of these rotations.
Yeah, UCF still has all their forts, all their keeps, and ReGen has lost one of their keeps and all 3 of their front forts, so there is definitely a large structure advantage for the UCF Death Knights. As well as kills, it's 11 kills to 1, so that has all been one-sided to this point as well, but the new shrine is up, and let's see what happens this time.
Can you say Bush Gank? The side of the UCF Death Knights are looking. But Penguin does scout it out there with the shurikens, so nice patient play from ReGen once again. But Snipe, meanwhile, did a very nice job of clearing out the shrine. You mentioned earlier that level 1 talent getting that extra go-around for the laser. So we just see So Lucky coming in here with the Commandeer Odin. APOC is going to be popped on the back end, finding a couple members out. Ash Bash getting pretty low. Dragon Strike comes in, but we do end up seeing Diablo be the first to fall. He did have his souls, so he will be coming back, but Savo dealing all kinds of damage. Wreaking mayhem. Ash Bash will get the final kill there onto Sonya, so a 2-for-0 exchange. They pick up the Punisher, and now they'll be looking to march in here into the bot lane.
Yeah, this will most likely be another keep to the side of UCF Death Knights. We'll see what defense ReGen puts up.
They do bait the Punisher over the wall. They do get a nice amount of damage out onto it, but for right now, it is focused on that core. We gotta be careful with the Frozen Punisher here. He's gonna get a little bit of extra CC potential. The root comes down there onto Rain, and without those souls, he gets completely squashed there by the members of UCF. And they're looking to also capitalize on the Sonya. The Punisher jumps in, and will actually get the final blow there. Savo comes out. Mosh Pit gonna lock Tychus into place, and that is gonna be it. They will turn around and annihilate this core, and that is gonna be game 1 here on Infernal Shrines, going over to the UCF Death Knights.
Wow, they got the picks when they pushed in with the Punisher, and that allowed them to end it. That was very well played by both teams. That was a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, ReGen trying to play patient, trying to look for a comeback opportunity, but not quite able to find it there. I felt like UCF played that lights out. They didn't make any of those typical mistakes that you see come out when a team does end up getting the opportunity for a comeback. They just played it very smoothly, very carefully, and calculatedly, and played the macro game for the most part there, but also had good team fighting potential. So I'd be interested to see what ReGen does here in game number 2 to look for these adjustments on how they want to approach with the map pick that's actually going to come out here for UCF on Dragonshire.
I have a feeling that ReGen is probably not going to let the UCF Death Knights pick up this Phoenix again. It's just looking at the numbers, Phoenix has got had the most hero damage in the game, 37,000, 100,000 in siege damage. Phoenix 4-0 did quite well.
Yeah, very powerful on that map too. In particular, very good shrine clear. But we'll have to see. We are going to set up in here game number 2. Get that lobby set up for you guys real quickly. What do you like here on Dragonshire in terms of adjustments that the side of ReGen can make for game number 2?
Well, I think if they can win the solo lane, I think that will be very helpful. Sonya was having a lot of trouble against the Leoric, and if that happens again in this game, I think we might see a 1-4 split with 4 rotating between middle and bottom lanes. And if that's the case, then I think ReGen needs to win the top lane. So if Sonya isn't the answer, maybe something else is.
Looks like we got everybody in here into lobby already. Both these teams being very efficient. Wait a minute. That's one too many. All right, let me just make sure both of these teams are ready to go, and who this extra person is. There's one too many people in this lobby.
Oh, that was probably my fault. I got a party invite from 2 people at the same time, and I think it pulled them in as well.
Aha! All right. Alright, let me just make sure ReGen is ready to go. And we will be off to game number 2 here. Yeah, Dragonshire, very rotation heavy map. Usually a pretty heavy priority on globals as well as wave clear. The quicker you can rotate through and get the wave clear and the mid to bot rotation, really the more you can control that bottom shrine. Solo lane, always incredibly important here. And having good camp takers can really give you an edge as well here on Dragonshire.
Yeah, I'm wondering if we're going to see some Rexars, or if we're going to see some of the globals like Dahaka. I think he's really strong here as well. Maybe a Falstad, but I'm also wondering what kind of rotations they're going to do as far as soaking the middle lane. If they're going to do a 1-1-3 or a 1-3-1, or what's going to happen here.
All right. Like both teams are ready, and we are going to head on in to map number 2 here of this best of 2 series. ReGen going to be looking to pull this out. It'll be an even draw at 1-1. Meanwhile, UCF going to be looking for those sweet domination points and score themselves 3 on the board to close out week number 1. Any early predictions here on what we're going to see from the draft? You mentioned that ReGen probably not going to let them have Phoenix, but they do have first pick this time around.
Yeah, I'm not sure if ReGen has any Phoenix players, but I'm sure that that they probably would, since playing OP heroes gives you a little bit of an advantage right now. So I don't think they're going to ban the Phoenix in first ban. I think they'll pick it up if it's not banned by the UCF Death Knights. Although I'm fairly certain the Death Knights will pick that as their first ban if they can. I do think that ReGen might continue to ban the Maev possibly. I'm not sure, but I don't think they're going to ban the Phoenix on their first ban.
Night Striker and Random XX Task, thank you very much for joining us. How you guys doing? And yeah, you mentioned it. Phoenix is going to be banned out here, so not wanting to risk trying to play it. Maybe a little bit too early for ReGen, but definitely not wanting to see UCF play it again.
I knew we wouldn't see it, but I didn't think they'd ban it first, so maybe they just don't play it.
So we will see Garrosh being banned out once again from the Death Knights, so not wanting to see that displacement potential. Maybe they know something about ReGen that maybe they like a little bit of Garrosh play, but either way, we are going to see first pick going over to ReGen, so we'll have to see if they maybe want to prioritize an early healer pick to try and get themselves either the Mouth or the Stukov. Maybe they want to pick at early Diablo has been pretty strong, especially on rotation heavy maps like Dragonshire, or they could look to get possibly one of those heavy damage dealers here, the Hanzo or the Genji.
None
Or the
shall
Maya.
flee my grasp.
How could we forget about the Warden herself?
Well, that's banning the Phoenix and then having Garrosh ban, it lets them pick up Maev, and I think she's very strong. She also is kind of seen as still a little bit overtuned, but we'll see if they get some kind of synergy with her that can possibly set up some combos of disrupting pulling people back.
Yeah, that mobility and displacement makes it very difficult to play against her, but one of her biggest weaknesses is CC. If you're able to lock her down, and especially with Stukov, end up with that silence for follow-up, that is Maev's greatest weakness. So I like the Stukov pick here. Wouldn't be surprised to see another of these heavy CC tanks coming out, as we saw them do in the last game. So we'll have to see exactly what they want to prioritize here. But I do like them getting the Stukov and avoiding the early support chokehold.
Yeah, and I feel that Stukov play was very strong last game, so I think they have no reason to grab something else. Just because his last game played so well, I think they're planning on doing it again.
And I feel like a lot of people have been talking about Malfurion being one of the strongest healers in the meta right now, but I actually would make the case for Stukov. I think that his healing numbers are pretty unrivaled, and it's not just pure raw healing numbers, but for Stukov, a lot of it I think comes down to meaningful healing. When he's able to get those big spike heals in big team fight situations, I think it really can be difficult to play against. And, you know, he does have good CC that he still provides. So, not surprised to see him prioritized highly once again, and the Death Knights are playing him well so far in this series.
Yeah, he's got that. He also has, a lot of team protection with silences for zoning, and he also has, the flailing swipes where he can push the other team either back or off of the objective. So I think he has a lot of utility.
So we will see the side of ReGen picking up Malfurion this time around. They're also going to go ahead and get Blaze, which is going to be potentially really strong in the solo lane. We do occasionally see Blaze picked up as a main tank, but usually he's put in that solo lane, which will be something difficult to contest up in that top lane here on Dragonshire. So now we'll have to see what bans these guys want to prioritize.
Yeah, I'm not sure what they're thinking of banning here.
Yeah, UCF does already have a little bit of a monopoly on the tank rule, so they could look to maybe ban out a main tank, but Medivh is somebody you have to constantly account for. So if UCF doesn't feel like they have strong Medivh comp or a strong Medivh player, I think that's a solid ban out here, especially with Maiev and her, how she's already got such strong rotational ability and gank ability. Medivh can really help out with that a lot.
Yeah, if you don't necessarily have a target ban in mind, just ban the top tier heroes. That's
right.
That you're not planning on playing, and that sounds pretty safe. Although, who knows? The Medivh might be a target ban on ReGen. I'm just unfamiliar.
Yeah. We'll see another ban out coming out here from ReGen. So they do have their solo laner already. They could maybe look to deny a solo lane from the Death Knights. We did see Leoric picked up last game, so they might look to maybe take that out here, or possibly Sonya. We've seen a lot of strong solo laners though, so it's kind of a difficult role to ban out on. So instead, they're going to look to just take out the Hanzo.
Do you think that for ReGen, do you think Blaze is going to be solo lane, or do you think he's going to be teamed up in some kind of a rotation?
I think that for Maiev, you really want more CC to set up her Umbral Bind than what Blaze can provide. So I kind of like the idea of seeing Blaze in the solo lane and going with a different tank. Even if it's, Johanna for wave clear, they could still go with Diablo for strong engage potential. But I kind of like that they're holding off. The Diablo kind of struggled last game against what UCF had. And so I think they're kind of waiting on it a little bit and looking to maybe flex what tank they want a little bit here.
Greymane getting picked up again for the UCF Death Knights, and I think he seemed to work pretty well last time. Got some good value.
And the Leo once again. So far, no adjustments made by the Death Knights, and when you have a good game like they just had on Infernal Shrines, really, why would you make any adjustments at all? So it's going to go with what worked last time, and force ReGen to be the ones that are making the adjustments this game.
Yeah, ReGen is the team that needs to come back to get us a win here, and so they think that maybe if they switch up their heroes, they'll have a different situation and a different outcome. So look forward to seeing what this new combination does and how they fight up against last game's hero selection pool from the Death Knights.
Yeah, the question for them is, what do they really want here? They're going to need backline damage. We saw them go with the Tychus last game, which did a nice job of chunking out heroes on occasion, but didn't really find the finishing kills with the Genji that they really wanted to find. They got a lot of low members, but the Stukov healing was just too much sustain. They'll have to see if they want to make an adjustment here. Maybe a more bursty damage dealer, you know, maybe playing a mage. They'll go to the Kalthos, so quite a lot of wave clear, and they're going to have the Johanna, also going to be good in the rotations and the wave clear department in her own right.
Yeah, it looks like now that they have cemented that Blaze will probably be their offlaner. Johanna does offer all that protection to Maev and for KT, so...
And this time it's going to be the Death Knights picking up the Tychus, so a lot of percentage-based damage to try and counter the Johanna and Blaze on the front line. But can be a little bit vulnerable to the Maev and that displacement. Tychus, of course, one of the lower mobility assassins in the game, so not quite able to get himself out of trouble if he does get displaced. So we'll have to see if ReGen maybe has found themselves a little bit of extra oomph in this comp to really be able to compete.
Yeah, Tychus does have his mini bunny hop, but it really doesn't push him very far, and he's just kind of slow because he's carrying all these guns, you know? So I'd
all
be
this
slow
armor,
too if I was
all
carrying
the
all
guns.
that.
But either way,
well,
we are
loading
loading
this
in
game,
here. Yeah, it should be very interesting. A lot of percentage-based damage potential for the side of UCF, especially if they want to go with that cursed bullet on the Greymane at level 10. But either way, we are loading in here to Dragonshire for game number 2. On the left, it is going to be the UCF Death Knights. We're going to have Jackster on the Stukov. Snipe's going to be playing the Tychus. Kodiax is going to be on Leoric. Rook is going to be on ETC. And Ashbash going to be playing the Greymane.
And for Team ReGen, red team on the right, we have So Lucky on KT. We have Professor Bobo on Malfurion. We have Penguins for the win on Maev. And we have Rain on Johanna. And Kupolin on Blaze.
2, 1.
All right, so it looks like both these teams are going to come on in to the mid lane once again, look for a little skirmish potential. I will say that I'm a little bit afraid of ReGen here and the comp that they have. They have a lot of CC and displacement potential. I suppose both teams do, but they're able to find somebody out here. They have the CC and follow-up potential, but we will see the charge in by the Blaze. Rook trying to flank there with the charge. Nice Umbral bind on 2 by Penguin. But at the end of the day, you look at the health bars, and definitely a win over on the side of the Death Knights as they're able to chunk out multiple members of ReGen and force the retreat.
Yeah, and Stukov did a really great job there of using his silence just to kind of deny the fighting area to ReGen, and it made them fight on the areas that they don't want to fight on.
And we'll see the slide in onto Rain. Does pop that Iron Skin to be able to walk away for the moment. Gonna have to tap well. But we will see right now rotational advantage going over to the Death Knights. They're already back in mid, soaking with the Tychus. And so for right now, they definitely are rotating. But got to be careful here. Tychus going to rotate around the long way as they don't see the members of ReGen. So nice rotation there. Nice disciplined play. And for now, they're going to be once again looking to rotate back to mid.
Yeah, one thing I didn't think about before, but I think is seeing now, is KT is going to get a lot of value out of spreading this bomb on this heavy melee comp.
Yeah, KT typically pretty good at countering heavy melee and good wave clear here as well on Dragonshire. But the big story right now is that the Death Knights are really controlling the rotations here from mid to bot. Very scary comp for ReGen to have to rotate through with all the CC that they have on their side and the ability to chunk down heroes with that Tychus damage. So right now, they control the rotations. They actually end up picking up the bot shrine first, but we do see Penguin in here trying to cap it. Rook will slide in. So Lucky getting some nice damage out in return, though. For now, it looks like they're going to be able to defend this bottom shrine for ReGen.
Yeah, it looks like Leoric has pretty solid control of the top lane. So it's really going to come down to the bottom, keeping that out of Death Knight's hands.
So for now, we will see an early camp prioritization here for the Death Knights. They do have the Greymane who has the ability to do that. So right now, Rook, I think, is trying to keep these guys busy. Ashbash is working on that siege camp. For now, they'll split up and look to continue soaking. Not really trying to get this Dragon Knight, but I think just right now feigning interest in it as they pick up the camp. And we'll have a little bit of extra push now in the bottom lane with these Rock Bros.
Yeah, when you're locked into a tie and neither team can get the Dragon Knight, picking up camps is a good way to break that stalemate.
Now in the top lane, we do have Leoric versus Blaze, so it's an interesting matchup. A lot of sustain on both ends. Not a whole lot of kill potential as both of them have an easy escape. Actually missing the Drain Hope there is Kodiak, so right now it looks like Blaze is going to have the advantage with his sustainability of just standing in the oil and the fire. They're going to go back and forth on that shrine, and this could take a while.
Yeah, two beefy tanks just pounding each other over and over again.
Slide in by Rook there. Iron Skin will be popped, though, once again by Rain to be able to get out of that CC. And poking back and forth. No kills so far. Both teams pretty even on the XP. Bottom was cleared of those giants, trading out the shrines. And a lot to see which one of these teams box first.
Having control of both shrines now, if they take a fight mid and Death Knights wins, they will get this Dragon Knight pretty easily. But it looks like we're going to get a rotation from ReGen down to bottom to take that shrine back, possibly pick this Tychus, and they do.
There's the CC potential and the gank potential that ReGen has. Tychus a little bit too far out in lane, and Penguin doing a nice job of punishing for him. But Rook is going to look to go back in, maybe get a little punish on So Lucky. Meanwhile, in the top, Kodiak's finally won the never-ending war up there between the tanks. And much needed. They needed to be able to cap and keep that shrine as the side of ReGen had won that skirmish in the bot.
Yeah, they got the kill on the Stukov with excellent roots from Malfurion, and Stukov just stood there and couldn't run away. He didn't just stand there. He was held there. I'm sure he would have run if he could.
He wanted to run so bad, but could not. We will see both shrines being held right now once again by the Death Knights, but a couple members of ReGen are in mid to look to defend as Blaze is getting back that top shrine with the help of Johanna. Slide in, though, onto So Lucky, and he's going to be caught out. Ashbash and Snipe able to take him down. And now it looks like it's going to be a swap where they get that pick in the mid, but ReGen is out in lane, and they're able to pick up the two shrines.
It seems like a little bit of momentum is building for ReGen. The KT being down means they probably still won't be able to get this Dragon Knight right now, but they're looking in a good position. They have a slight XP lead. Let's see if they can continue to get these picks.
The music in the top lane is once again we have both the tanks testing out their might against each other over that top shrine. For right now, it is still owned by the Death Knights, and the 4-man rotation will be good. A lot of damage coming out on Stukov there. So Lucky finds him out, and will hit the stun and damage combo. Both teams inching their way towards level 10. Going to be in here pretty evenly for both squads, but either team can get just a little bit of an edge. They might be able to use that 10 advantage to try and pick up an early a mid-game Death Knight here, or Dragon Knight, I should say.
Yeah, I think 10s they'll finally do a full engage, and we'll have one side have multiple deaths, and the other team try to take this first Dragon Knight.
Oh, excellent. Excellent gravity lapse there by So Lucky, canceling out the charge from Rook, and not quite able to slide in there for the stun. Gets him safely back to mid. Level 10s will be picked up by both teams, and the picks are coming in hot. It is going to be Mosh Pit, Commandeer Odin, go for the throat, Flailing Swipe, and the Orc holding his pick for right now. There it is, March of the Black King for the side of the Death Knights. But meanwhile, the invasion is here for ReGen. They try and steal away the camp, but are not able to get in time. The silence going down, and Maiev is going to end up falling to that excellent lurking arm there from Jackster.
Yeah, makes it really hard to get away when you're silenced and you're slowed. And getting constant bullet barrage from Tychus. It's rough.
Thank you, Waterfish. I apologize for the scene mix-up there. We'll move that logo just as soon as the 2-minute delay is through. That fixed up for you guys. But we do see, for right now, Dragon Knight being picked up here by the Death Knights. They're able to take advantage of that pick in the mid lane and will end up moving their way onto the mid fort.
They're gonna push 4 with the Dragon Knight, or 4 together. See if they can get this fort at whatever value they can. It was a long 8 minutes before this Dragon Knight actually first popped out.
So we do see the fort falling here in the mid. They're doing a nice job of trying to keep that dragon alive, but starting to spread the bombs a little bit here are the Death Knights. They do keep the Leo in top, though, so Kodiak's getting a nice amount of damage here onto the front wall, getting a little bit extra as the rest of the rotation does go down to the bot lane, and they'll look to take down this front wall.
And that split gives the Death Knights about a level advantage, so they're staying just a little bit ahead. That Leo doing good work in the top lane.
Now we do see the Umbral Bind coming out onto Rook, and Condemned to follow it up. But we will see the Odin being popped here by Snipe. Gonna look to get some nice siege damage out. They're gonna take a look at this well, and getting this well in the bot lane is a very nice advantage to be able to gain if they are able to end up taking that down. We'll deny the well taps here as they fight over the bottom shrines moving forward through this matchup.
Yeah, ReGen doing a really nice job of defending bottom. They lose their wall and their towers, but they keep their well, and they push Death Knights back.
We do see the charge in here onto Penguin. But once again, nice gravity lapse by So Lucky. They're able to deter the engage from the Death Knights. But they do have about a level lead at this point, so they're going to be looking to try and take advantage of that with the 13 talent tier. ReGen not wanting to give them that fight, and right now just looking to safe soak their way to 13.
Greymane eyeing this camp bottom. I think they're just going to grab this and continue to push with their bottom lane pressure, their 4-man. Good timing too, right before the shrines go active. I like that.
Yeah, very nice timing. They are going to pick it up directly though. 13 will be achieved here for ReGen, and good timing for them as well. They're going to be looking to get this top camp to push out the top lane, so we'll have to look to try and defend. They do end up getting the well, and now the fort is going to be under assault here, as we do see the shrines coming up here for the second Dragon Knight phase of the game.
Looks like ReGen will not be able to keep them from getting this fort this time. That extra camp pressure allowing them to stay without taking the tower shots.
They are going in deep to engage there. Maybe stepping out a little bit too far, as we do have the counter engage, and the solo mosh pit gonna end up catching Malfurion. That's gonna be a quick 3-for-0. Blaze also falling in the top lane, so Death Knights really taking over this map as we head into the mid game.
Yeah, I don't see any other outcome than the Death Knights getting the Dragon Knight right here, right now.
Snipe gonna clear away those archers that are gonna be trying to poke him out from getting the Dragon Knight, but they will end up picking it up. Level 16 talent here also here now, so this is a big power play for UCF.
Surprising amount of damage coming out from the Orc. He has 46k 1000 hero damage right now at this point. He's just been beating on Blaze.
You see the prioritization onto this mid-front wall. The Death Knights not wanting to give up too much of this Dragon Knight's health. They do back up a little bit with it. They're playing patient. We do have a nice amount of damage coming out from So Lucky. And so the Dragon Knight is going to kick him away. And look to deny some of that damage moving forward. As they move in, we'll get about 60% damage done to the keep. But for right now, Kodiak's is going to end up falling. ETC also gets caught in that route from Bobo. And they're going to be looking to charge in here for the counter engage.
They don't lose that keep. It loses about 50, a little more than 50% health, but they don't lose it entirely. So, and they get a couple picks. They're still down to talent tier for ReGen, so they'll probably look to pick that up and have some encouragement for the next team fight.
Yeah, it is nice catch up. They were about 3 levels behind, now less than 2 with those 2 picks. Of course, when you have the enemy team that's up levels, you get a little bit of extra XP boost off of hero kills, and they're going to be looking to engage. They can't really engage into this bottom fort area, however, the structure is still there. But they do end up invading and grabbing this camp, and they're going to be looking now to split out to lane. Leoric already in the top lane, though, soaking. So, DF looking to get a little bit extra XP out of the side lanes.
ReGen's going to go ahead and push on this bottom wall, try to take out some of the structures.
Well, Rook is going to come back and get the stun, only landing on Rain there. Will eventually be interrupted by the Twilight Dream. Stukov ends up going down as ReGen is in here trying to charge in deep. Getting very low is Ashbash. He gets pulled in by that Warden's Cage. Rook going to have to fall back, and that's going to be another 2 picks going over to the side of ReGen, but they end up losing the Blaze to the tower shots there. Minion Wave not quite getting in there quick enough. And we will see the 2-for-1 exchange. Level 16s are here. And for now, ReGen going to back out and look to clear these waves.
Yeah, that was close. They ReGen did well getting those picks, but losing the Blaze means they had to back off a little bit and weren't able to take that fort outright. Looks like Death Knights are going to take this Bruiser camp and have that start pushing when the objective pops. ReGen grabbing this bottom Bruiser camp, so they have some pressure pushing as well. So it'll be a good exchange. But they also have their top right Bruiser camp available too, if they wanted to have additional pressure later on.
Okay, now the Death Knights rotating around carefully. They have sent the Tychus to top lane to be able to cap that top shrine. They also have the camp marching in towards that top fort that's already under assault from a large minion wave. But right now, ReGen getting aggressive with their camp in bot, looking to try and take advantage of the Tychus not being here. The camp does get in the charge in here. Rook will slide to try and deter the front line, but gets rooted for his trouble. The Twilight Dream also going to hit onto ETC, but now all 5 members are here. The Drain Hope coming out onto the Blaze, and he escapes with 25 health, and is going to be able to make his way back. Warden's Cage is going to come down as they look to turn around and try and get the counter engage. Penguin doing what he can with those Fan of Knives, but gets rooted by the Stukov silence there. Very nice use of that 13 talent by Jackster that we've seen being more and more popularized. And we will see that pick going over to the side of UCF. They'll get this shrine, and they'll now look towards that Dragon Knight cap.
ReGen has some housekeeping to take care of. They've got to clear this camp top. And that gives Death Knights the opportunity to pick up the Death Knights the opportunity to pick up the Dragon Knight and push mid, trying to get that keep that they got halfway down last time.
Good to know I'm not the only one. But we do see the slide in and the 2-man mosh now. It's going to be interrupted by the Condemn, but the Dragon Knight is looking to come in here onto the mid and going to start put a little bit of damage on that keep. ETC going to end up getting the kill with that charge onto Blaze. And we're going to see them looking at maybe trying to take this bottom keep as well, not looking to end with the 20s. I don't know, with Blaze down, I think they might be able to do this.
They're taking a lot of tower shots from this bottom keep, and they're getting quite low. They might need to start retreating. Get the second keep and call it good? Let's see.
Yeah, they will get the keep. So this next time around, we'll see the catapults starting to spawn in bot, even though that wall is still alive down there. Eventually, the catapults will do a nice job of taking it down on their own, but
Red team's core is under attack.
Level 20 still pretty far away here. Level and a half almost for ReGen. So they're looking to try and defend, but at the end of the day, Dragon Knight's still getting a lot of value right down to the final seconds of its duration. Kodiak's getting very low. Will be taken down by one final shot there from the Phoenix.
They do end up getting about 25% of the top keep down as well, so they got quite a bit of value from that and escaped with only one death, so that's well played.
Yeah, it's kind of rough to find yourself a win condition on Dragonshire. The Dragon Knight really one of the only ones, but with So Lucky on the other side, great counter engage, especially post 16 with that double flame strike. It gives you quite a lot of counter siege damage as well as zoning potential. But we do see a nice rotation in from the Death Knights, looking to deny once again this camp. They're going to be able to invade and steal it before Kodiak's is back. And again, without the level 20s, ReGen doesn't really want to give them the fight here.
It's going to be harder and harder for ReGen to get these Dragon Knights because they have all this catapult pressure being pushed in the mid and the bottom lanes. It's going to be tough.
We'll see Rook sliding in there after that Stormbolt, but once again, nice interrupt and the huge amount of damage coming out from the Twilight Dream and the counter engage in general. See Stukov also falling. Ash Bash does go in and gets the kill on Maiev, but will pay with his life. And just like that, it's a 1-for-3 exchange, and ReGen is not done there.
This is exactly the kind of fight they needed. They need to wipe the Death Knights, and they had a great exchange there.
We'll see that big red button coming out from Snipe. Does have a lot of extra tank ability, and they end up turning around and actually getting the kill onto Blaze. Rain also getting very low. So they'd end up, somehow the Death Knights in that 2-for-4 situation, end up turning around and getting themselves one more kill. Just like that, it looks like it's going to be more of an even exchange. For now, ReGen is going to have to turn around and clear up these lanes once again.
That Odin, double thick, double CC.
So for right now, we will see both teams looking to rotate out, grab one of these shrines for themselves, and having to take care of this bottom catapult pressure that you mentioned. It's going to be a long way here for ReGen. They have 6 different structures still available here for the Death Knights to just the one for ReGen. So they're going to have to take quite a few of these team fights throughout the game. ETC does file on into the bottom lane to recap one of these shrines. So for right now, the Death Knights can look to try and engage. Blaze now just coming back. So we should get another 5v5 team fight here pretty soon.
I think UCF Death Knights are just going to try to play safe until they know that they can take a fight where they have the numbers, like a 5v4 advantage when a member of ReGen goes back to protect one of the lanes that's being pushed.
Rook will find a few members lurking in the bushes here. They will slide out, but the engage has is on now for ReGen, but we do see the Odin popped here. Big red button getting some nice zoning potential. But right now it looks like the side of ReGen going to back up. They don't really want to fight into that Commandeer Odin. So they're going to look to try and see if they can zone out. But right now Blaze is under a lot of pressure, and he's going to end up going down to the Leoric. And right now they are on the retreat is ReGen, but they're not going to be able to get Penguin out of there. And so it's only going to be 3 members escaping from this ill-fated engage.
Yeah, Death Knights did a good job of counter-engaging, backing up, healing up, and then going back in and getting it up, separating ReGen's Blaze, and then Maiev, and then, you know, basically causing retreat.
We'll see a ton of damage coming out there from So Lucky, but it is on to just the Leo, so a lot of drain hope healing on the other side. Meanwhile, the Death Knight the Dragon Knight by the Death Knights is on the core here, and they're going to be looking to take this down, and this should be easily enough to clean it up. Game number 2 and the domination going over to the UCF Death Knights.
Wow, what a game. That was, we were not let down. There was as much excitement as last game, and flip-flops, one advantage here, one advantage there. It was some great games.
Yeah, definitely some solid competition here in the A division. Not surprised to see it at all, but at the end of the day, UCF able to play the macro pretty well, I think, throughout most of these games, taking good advantages when they had the opportunity to, and just in general, playing their comps pretty well the way they wanted to. You got to give a lot of credit to ReGen, though. They stayed in these games. You know, it's easy to be down 16-13 in levels and start to get discouraged and end up taking bad fights and snowballing worse, but they came back in the mid game there. They found themselves a couple of good fights. They got onto those even talent tiers, and they made a real competition out of this match.
Oh yeah, ReGen, they're not quitters. They'll fight to the end, and they were making some good progress. And I feel like they played very well, even though they didn't win. They played very well.
All right, guys. Well, that's going to do it for us for this nice Sunday matchup for you all. We got a couple more matchups coming up tonight, including one that I will be playing in tonight at 6:30. So I'm looking forward to Divine Nine's premiere matchup to start off the season for NGS. And Weenus, thank you very much for joining me. Do you got any shout-outs before we say goodnight for the evening?
Oh, thank you so much, Jason, for letting me hop in here. Always fun to learn from the big boys, the professionals who know what they're doing. I just would like to give a shout out to NGS in general. We love NGS in the community, and if you feel like supporting on Patreon, feel free to do that if you can. You can follow me for my useless tweets if you want on Twitter at MoistWeenus, but hopefully we'll see you guys around in the Nexus.
Yeah, and definitely an honor having you here. Thank you very much for coming on. And we'll have to do this again sometime. Feel free to come back whenever you want, buddy. It's a lot of fun.
Oh, I look forward to it. I would love that.
All right, guys. Well, that's going to do it for us. Thank you very much for joining us. Don't forget to follow if you want to see more NGS action. I should be picking up at least 2 or 3 matchups each week here for NGS. And I'll be posting those VODs also over on YouTube as soon as I can after the matchups are done. So thank you very much for coming out and enjoying this matchup. And for NGS, I'm Jason, and he is Moist Weenus, and we'll see you guys next time. Have a good night.